Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to match 1 of our Gold League. So we'll be switching over our Gold League rather than our Silver now, and we'll see how these players will compete in these matches. It seems like they're doing some sort of ritual over here where they have to kill some of these wolves, maybe to get a mythic weapon here at the start. We're still having technical difficulties though with our viewers, so we are just with this single player, single team viewer at the moment, so bear with us while we work through some of those airs. Ooh, and there's the boss spawning, so maybe you summon the boss. They will be trying to find maybe a mythic weapon out of this. Yep, there is a drop, and maybe a mythic weapon, a token, maybe even a vault keycard. So many good things coming out of doing that ritual. An AG Fetch, AG CUI, and NRG Dunsun will find a little bit of an advantage here at the start of the match outside of this Grim Gate. But moving into our Gold League, we should expect these players to be on top of their game. These are players that are a little bit more talented maybe than our Silver League. We're putting in so much time and effort to learn this game and develop better skills in higher leagues overall. So we'll see what kind of skill level these players have compared to our Silvers, and see what these players can bring to the table and how they change the meta throughout these matches. Soccer Fan, Zero G Mech, and Browns for Life. Just looting up this Ship It location. You see this location very often. It's a popular location, kind of central on the map, and it seems like this team has made it their home as they look to loot it up. We'll pan around here though, see if we can find some other teams. Maybe delving into some action here. We had 75 players at the start of this match, now down to 64. You can see Caden the Clown is decreasing that tally of players one by one. Broken, A-Switch, Anonymous, all looking for some shots onto these players. Pretty far away though, so it'd be a difficult shot, especially without a scope. They have that launch pad, if they do hit one of those shots, to pounce on this team. But you can see just on the outskirts of Brawler's Battleground here, these teams will begin to rotate down back into this location and begin looting up what remains of it. Talked about adapting to different drop spots and different places where you want to land, and as the season goes on, we're 5 weeks in at this point, but teams will be more accustomed to where they're dropping. They'll get better at dropping those locations, more efficient at looting them, and they'll understand how to play around them a little bit more. So the competition at these levels is just going to get higher and higher for these teams, especially as they adapt to each other and learn ways on how to counter each other's metas. So we'll see if GRZ Slurpee, Chronicle Gamer, and Anonymous 258 can be at the forefront of these adaptations, can really spearhead themselves the way to the top. For now, I think Slurpee might be having some technical issues, just getting boxed up by one of his teammates here, but we'll take a look over here at SK Lucid and Zane Pork. A duo in this lobby already at a disadvantage, at least with players, and we'll see exactly how they can come away with a victory here, put themselves in a better position to find that win throughout this match. I mean, coming into this as a duo, you can't expect to win every match as it comes to you, but putting yourself in a better position to win fights, taking fights that you have the advantage in, will definitely help you win these matches. And I think it's almost essential for these players to do what Lucid's doing, especially in this situation, is carry that sniper, carry a weapon that can change the tide of a fight very, very quickly. Lucid with that purple sniper should be able to find an advantage in a fight, do some early damage, at least crack the shields of one of these players. And as I say that, he's going to be tested here. Another player starts to rotate in, taking high ground, jumping onto these builds, and now trying to take the wall behind his teammate. But he's got to be careful of these enemy players. This isn't just a solo that he's dealing with. Now Lucid backing off a little bit here, recognizing that this isn't the only player here, and a player actually dropping in on him, finding a crack on the shield through the builds. A lucky shot makes its way through, and now Lucid put into a difficult situation here. Boxes up, cones below and above, trying to take some piece control around him. Now maybe looking to hop in on one of these players. He's regrouped with his teammate. He's found some space to work with, and it looks like Zane is going to be able to create that space for Lucid. They can hear the footsteps of players above them now breaking into their box. We've got to be careful about where they fight here. Now looking for a box onto this player. I think they actually get it onto one, but piece control found. Lucid brought low. Shotgun shot goes through. Damage found, but the teammates are colliding here. And Lucid will find another shot and another down, but it's not going to be enough. And Caden the Clown, Bubsy Vader, and Big Jackson will find those eliminations and bring their total to 6 as a squad. Caden the Clown, we talked about him earlier in the match. He was finding eliminations and breaking down that tally of players. And he's going to continue to do so. Big Jackson actually clutching up for his team there, finding the last little bit of damage needed to find those eliminations, and his teammates are lucky he was there. Again, that's what that player disadvantage does to you, though. Lucid and his teammate, only a duo going into that fight, and although they were able to find 2 of those eliminations before the other two teams could find 2 eliminations onto them, that player disadvantage led to their demise. But let's take a look over here at Flu here. Bruno Pug and Bryce Blitz looking to take a Volt of their own, get some of these weapons upgraded to however they prefer. And that's just one of the best parts about this season. You're able to customize so much of these weapons to how you like to play with. You can use different scopes and get different attachments on the weapons that make them better overall. See, that's exactly what they want to do here. With 48 players remaining, they just still want to upgrade their weapons and get some better loot before pushing into these fights. But now, force below. Will have to wait out, or have to create some space in between themselves and this team, placing some barriers to entry here. Maybe looking to replace some of these things above them. A dink on the head of one of these players, though, with that SMG, just finds the shot through the builds there. And they'll have to be careful as zone begins to rotate in here. Obviously not on them initially, and they'll have another zone to play with, but getting stuck down here for so long can just be such a hindrance to your match. But it seems like there's some fights going on above, and actually, I believe some players are going down in the match as a result. Bruno, Flu, and Bryce are just taking their time. And now, they'll strike when this third party has come in and started this fight. Players next to them, they gotta be careful. And shots found. Bryce opens it up onto one. Here's players above, drops them down, finds another elimination. Bryce finds 2, now looking for a third, and I think they do it. I think they find that third player. Bruno actually the player to do it. And what patience pays off for this team. They sit so patiently down below, wait for these teams to third party each other, and strike when these players are at such a disadvantage. Bryce was there to spearhead it, and Bruno and Flew there to back him up. This team will find a good set of eliminations to start off their match, to give them even more loot after just coming off that vault. Now they can rotate out with that vehicle, get a little bit more central in zone, and set themselves up for a decent end game. Taking a look at the map, you can see it start to close in towards this lavish layer position, and that's exactly where they're setting up shop. We'll take a look at some of these other teams. STLH, Tree Zoe, Tree Coco, and Little Draugr. Looking to... I don't know if they're chatting with this AI or they've hired the AI, but overall just protecting it in some way. Huddling around it. Oh yeah, they are waiting for it to drop some loot to them. Interesting. So AI's now dropping loot ever so often to their teammates. Like some of these chug splashes. And what a use that becomes. Hiring these AIs has just gotten so much better. You have a little kind of shield to follow you around. It drops heals for you the entire time. It's got to be an advantage in the match. Continuing to switch through the match. We have Gator Fight Club, Steamy, and Mini. We're all looking around here throughout the map. Gator Fight Club had a decent few matches in the silver lobby, winning both of them, or being a part of the team that won both of them. And now deciding to compete in this gold lobby, maybe show us what he can do in here. We'll see if he can repeat that success with these two other teammates, or if it'll be too tall of a task for him. Team that looks like they're in a fight here. And an AI that looks like he's shooting through the wall. Just can't seem to find the damage there, I guess. But players right next to them actually running into a fight of their own, and they're looking to finish off these players, and actually they'll steal it. Little Draugr is able to find it on to Christopher 3. And now still looking to find some of these snipe shots. Waiting for one of these players to stand still, and he finds it on to one. Another tag for Little Draugr to open up a fight, to give his team a bit of an advantage. And to pressure some of these teams off. Maybe make them think twice about pushing here. And another shot from Little Draugr. I don't think he's missed a snipe shot yet. Just continues to connect over and over again. And now hopping onto some of these players, will find the elimination onto one. Now looking for those remaining two players. And that's mini clicks, and they will go down. Now, Draugr trying to look around the map here, look at where these players could be coming from. You can see that sniper glint up on the top of that hill. Draugr, being as good as he is with the sniper, wants to continue dominating these fights. Just narrowly misses those first two shots. But they want to keep up the pressure here, especially these players that are rotating late. Punishing them, forcing them out of this location, and it looks like they're going to continue to get aggressive here, chasing down this team as they get closer to that rift. Draugr, he's just going to watch as they jump into it. Maybe looking for a snipe shot out of the air, or just at least noticing or getting a mental marker of where these players are headed to. We'll keep switching around here. Gator Fight Club, Steamy. They lose their teammate, Mini Clicks. They stay alive in the match for now. So as a duo, they can come back from this. I don't think the card's going to be recovered, so they're going to be playing as a duo for the rest of this match, but it's still in their hands. See some of these teams on their right, very close to them. One of these teams trying to find maybe another advantage in this match, picking up some of the scraps left behind here, is Xiao and the Blading Legend, who have lost their teammate Lesponcho. Have begun looting up some of the remnants of this location. You see a team nearby, a player behind the tree. Xiao, he spots him out, but will not take that fight. Not looking to aggress here, just looking for them to push into him. I think these teammates know about each other. Yeah, Xiao trying to do the damage, trying to trade back his teammate, and he'll find the elimination on the one. Now looking for the second. Trying to find those shots, and he will. Two players being down, but he needs to hold that back wall. He needs to heal. He's put at a disadvantage, and he'll jump down below again. See that medkit coming out. White heal's going to be gained from it, but Storm now a factor in this match. Shield pot also being popped now, and now players jump in on each other. Shots missed, but Xiao will find it in the end. And another medkit will be popped. Flopper's on the ground. He can recover his teammates' cards and get out of dodge. Xiao does a great job to keep his team alive there, taking those fights so nicely and waiting for those players to kind of push into him, not getting overly aggressive even with Storm coming in. He knew he had the medkits to play with, and he didn't have to push too hard. So the Blading Legends reboot card is at least picked up. Sponcho, at the moment it isn't. See Xiao just rotating into zone. Zone ticking for so much here, and he just narrowly makes it in. Has that flopper to play with, has big pots to pop, but after that he has no heals remaining. And Gator Fight Club, they'll run up onto the solo player, jump out of the car, and an impulse comes out. Interesting play to go up top to try and jump. Alright, hello and welcome back to our second match of our Gold League contenders. They're working their way into a fight here to start us off. AMG, XPL, FC1, and Wolfman are looking to get aggressive here at the start of this fight, or start of this game. And we'll see what Wolfman can do here, trying to take some piece control on the top of this box. That cone is now his, but his opponent has left the box, and he is none to the wiser at the moment. Has to regroup here. Now looking to take this sidewall. Needs to take his time. Not very many shots left in the mag. And his teammates are going to be there to support now. All spraying in. They'll eventually get some shots through. And Mag Pull can no longer hold that wall on them anymore. And Wolfman, AMG, and XPL FC1 will find a few eliminations towards the start of this match. Zig's also finding one onto Zero G Mech in the chat. And how this lightning bolt has changed the meta. Being able to spray through some of these builds is such a great way to find some early eliminations very quickly in these matches. And even loot up quicker. You can see how Wolfman uses this to break down that building to give himself a little bit of a easier route into it and to compile some of that loot together on the ground for them. Maybe not the best weapon because it sticks you completely still in the air, but a good weapon to use in some other cases, or good utility item in general. Now we'll see Wolfman, AMG, and XPL start to rotate off. And look for some more fights or some more loot throughout this match. These players put in so much time and dedication to Fortnite, to learning the meta, to adapting to it. And you see how they progress throughout these matches, how they are so talented to be able to continue to dominate, to continue to change up who is the winning team consistently. No team has been really dominant over the course of these events. It seems like there's always another team getting better and better. It's just so impressive to see this young talent continue to grow in the XP League. GRZ Creed, AKW, and Ryan Boy looking to make their way around the map here. They have a med kit, a big pot, a few shockwave grenades, an SMG, and an AR to work with, and actually a player kind of rotating into AKW, and it looks like his teammates are going to jump onto this and throw some impulse down, maybe to stop this team from pushing in. Damage being found, and Creed finds one elimination, now looking for a second. Unable to get it. Finds a little bit of chip damage. This player just out and leaving himself a little bit exposed, and Creed is able to find a little bit of an advantage there, and his teammate working his way in. Creed there to support Ryan, trying to break through the stairs, and will find that elimination. But AKW is taken down, so they have to be careful here. Shockwave coming through. And you see a little bit of a miscommunication there. They're not grouped up on that initial shockwave, so it could lead to some separation, but Creed looking to take some high ground on this player below. He has that big pot to still pop. They have to be careful of teams around this location getting third party, leaving yourself exposed, especially when there's snipers in this match, can be detrimental to winning or losing these fights. And Creed, Ryan Boy, and AKW will end up on top, finding that elimination and eventually rezzing their teammate. So we take a look back at the map here. Maybe some other teams around these locations. XPL FC1, Wolfman, and AMG, a team that we saw earlier. Maybe looking to get a more aggressive here, at least onto some AI, at least onto some bosses. And you see loot just floating down from above, the boss just taken out of midair. They're able to grab some loot out of it. Switching over to a team that we really haven't covered too much of, Logan. Big, huge Colt. And Kate the Master. They look to be looting up some of these locations, getting a little bit of these chests around here. Overall bettering what they can bring to the table throughout these matches. A lot of these teams, the goal at the start is to farm up mats, get better materials, get better resources, and get better guns overall. You want to come into every fight with the best weaponry you can. Obviously, a lot of these teams land more towards the outskirts of the map to not get contested at these locations and thus have to run a little bit worse loot. But in the end, it allows them to upgrade over time. So a lot of these huts that are on the outskirts that they can loot as they come in can allow them to gain a little bit more loot. And you can hear crown chests above these players. And some good loot to be surely to be found outside of those. Actually, Colt just yoinking that shotgun straight away, but eventually trading it back to his teammate, maybe juggling it around for a second. One of the things we talk about when coaching these students is how to disperse loot amongst yourself. You don't want one player with everything good on your team. You want to have it separated amongst yourselves so that you guys can each inflict a decent amount of damage. You don't want to have one person running gray shotguns and ARs and another person running just straight mythics. It's great to disperse the loot between yourselves, and especially when it comes to heals, having one player holding shields while the other's holding whites can be such an advantage for your team. Without going into much more detail about that, we see some of these players taking some fights. The AI actually taking some damage there. They realize that it's just a AI that might have been hired. Still looking to lurk their way around here throughout this woods area. And they see players actually taking some shots from the bush up there on the left side. So they do need to be careful of that as well. Shots being taken. Damage found onto Kate. Kate's got to be careful here. And a lot of damage done. Little advantage that shield is placed down to create a little bit of a barrier for these teams. See Kate actually start to drop back, create some space in between these teams and themselves. They're not looking for these early engagements. A lot of these early engagements can lead to your elimination. It can come down to RNG or who gets a better shot in a different scenario, or who has better ping. So many different factors that are played into these fights, and playing more for placement can be a lot more beneficial in situations like this. But moving on to some other teams here, we'll see if we can find some of these fights that are going on. Xiao looks like he's in a similar situation to the previous match. He clutched up once, and he looks like he's clutched up again, or at least survived again for his team to allow them to come back in this match. Doesn't look like he has any eliminations himself, but at least is able to bring his teammates back in this match and recover those cards. But now, a car to be taken, players maybe jumping in on them. And Xiao's going to start to rotate out here, leaving one of their teammates behind. And as a result, Lady Legend is taken down. But Xiao and Sponcho, they're going to be able to rotate out here with this vehicle. But Sponcho, not very many options for loot around this area. Maybe a white AR or gray AR. Nothing really too beneficial for this team. You see our match winners in the chat finding some of those eliminations. Bryce, Flew here, and Bruno. See if we can catch up with them here in a bit. See exactly what they have planned for this match. But Ryan Boy, AKW, and Creed taking a little bit of a vault area, maybe just practicing their edits here, but nothing much other than that to see. Great loot on the inventory of Ryan Boy, which can lead to some eliminations later on. One of the teams that we said were at a disadvantage in our first match is Lucid and Zane. Just a duo. It's so hard to find good openings, especially in a game like Fortnite where you can easily build, protect yourself from these enemies. It makes it so difficult for duos to really get the advantage in a fight unless you're able to find an opening with a sniper or get the jump on a team and find an early elimination before really any damage is done to you. Nonetheless, this team is surviving for now, and with 39 players left, they have a good chance of making it to endgame here. But one of the teams that might not be making it to endgame is Big Jackson, Bubsy Vader, and Caden the Clown. As Caden the Clown goes down, Big Jackson being the only player remaining. And Shao, again, going to be put to the test here. He's done so much for his team already. He's found some eliminations, but only white health remains for him. He needs to reload that shotgun too. Only 2 shots remaining in it, and I think it shoots 2 bullets at a time, so he's got to be careful here. And he's not going to have the chance to be Shao taken out. And Bubsy Vader and Big Jackson will survive the fight, at least for now. Very exposed, though. You want to box up in these scenarios where you just finish up a fight. You want to have that extra layer of protection between you and the enemy team, especially in these situations. A lot of times what can happen is a sniper from far away can just take you out in one single shot as you're rezzing your teammate, making it very easy for you to get eliminated. But luckily, in this case, Big Jackson and Bubsy Vader survive, and they can pick up the card. They can find that reboot for their teammate Caden, bring themselves back to a trio with 6 eliminations for the squad thus far. They've eliminated 2 other squads. And what is this? A golden chicken? Not sure exactly what that was, but they're going to be rotating over here, looking for that reboot here in zone. Hopefully they will get it. You can see both players going in for it to speed up the process. And that reboot will come through. They'll have those wings to rotate back. Caden the Clown will be brought back in the match. That loot all nearby. And with 50 seconds left before the zone rotates, he's got a lot of time to really loot up and get back to where he was. The question is whether or not they have shields. It doesn't seem like the inventories of these players are stacked at all with heals. That might lead to their demise later on. But switching over to some other teams, we can see exactly what's going on in some of these fights. Agent Joker, Ziggs, and I Tried in a difficult situation here. Shields on the inventory of Agent Joker, needs to pop them and isn't aware of the player nearby. AMG able to find that elimination. Wolfman and XPLF nearby to support. AMG really finding that elimination quickly. And is able to get out of Storm. 8 eliminations for this team. They've been fragging out, and they'll continue to do so as Ziggs is also taken down by Wolfman, and that squad will be eliminated. Players finding an advantage in these fights, finding those eliminations quickly, efficiently, not using many resources to do it. That's exactly what you want in a fight. You want to take an isolated fight where you're not getting a third party on you, and you want to finish it as quickly as possible so you're not using a lot of resources, especially in these situations where you're going into end games and expending so many of those resources that you'll use later on. And with 30 players remaining, see what this team can do. More shockwaves on the inventory of AMG. Those rotates are critical in these endgame scenarios. Being able to get from place to place without having to use mats is so important for these teams to stay alive. group rotating especially. Shockwaves are a great way for your team to kind of go in a similar direction. I won't say the same direction. It's not perfect all the time, and all these teams have different strategies using shockwaves, but at least gives you a little bit of a similar rotate to your team. But as I say that, AMG looking to get further aggressive on these players, pressuring from above as this player zips along with that teleport-like ability. We'll see what AMG can do to support his teammates here and further their eliminations onto this player. Jumping ahead, they'll eventually find it. That'll be Wolf to go down. Wolfman takes out Wolf. It's a dog-eat-dog world, and Wolfman will take it. But Bryce Blitz, XPL, or Bryce Blitz will take it out onto XPLT Gamer and J-Man as well. So our winners of the previous match still in this one, and still looking hungry for some eliminations. You see AMG, Wolfman, and XPLFC. They're all trying to box up in this location, and they're going to go down and reform. This is exactly what you want to do in this situation. Create a structure for your team to stay safe in, to create a little bit of a home for yourselves in this zone, and then reform these materials while you're able to, so that you can use them later on in endgame. That's exactly why we box up on buildings that are of the same material that you're building.